Let's make the Red Rum Ginny. Hi, I'm Jared. Welcome to Kill-Divill, where we focus on rum and cocktails. Today we're going to make a drink called the Red Rum Ginny. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. In either case, I hope you enjoy this drink. The name and ingredients for this drink came from Thomas Ligotti in one of his short stories from his collection Songs of a Dead Dreamer. The short story, for those of you who are interested, is called the Nyctalops Trilogy and is part 1, The Chemist. In the story, the main character, the narrator, is a mixologist on top of being a pharmacologist. And he made a drink that is called the Red Rum Ginny. He gives the ingredients, but he does not give proportions. Looking it up online, I could find no recipes for it. So I felt obligated to try and make a Red Rum Ginny. In order to make it, I gave myself a couple of restrictions. Well, one major restriction. The ingredients had to be available when this book was written, which is the mid-90s. It's rum, gin, cranberry juice, and ginger ale. Back then, you had two choices for rums that were commonly available, Bacardi and Captain Morgan. I went with Bacardi. I did try Captain Morgan, but it didn't work very well in this drink. I had a few more selections for gin. I ended up going with Tanqueray because I could get in the 375, and I don't like old gins like this. I prefer the new modern gins, but there you have it. Next, cranberry juice. I like drinking organic, unsweetened cranberry juice, or like using it at least, because then I can add enough sugar to make it sweet to my taste. But back then, mid-90s, what was available? Ocean Spray. So that's what we're using today. And it's technically not a cranberry juice, it's a cranberry juice cocktail. And it's pre-sweetened, so that makes it easier to balance this cocktail out. Finally, the ginger ale. There's only one ginger ale that I know of that was back then, and that was Canada Dry. So that's what we're using. The next was the proportions. My initial instinct was to split the base, half gin, half rum. But the gin dominates so strongly, I had to cut it way back so that it just didn't become a gin with some color in it. So the split I'm going to use is 1 3/4 ounces of rum and 1/4 ounce of the gin. That's pretty light on the gin, but the flavor will come through. A note on the spirits. I did say that I was going to use spirits that were available back then in the mid-90s, that were commonly available in the mid-90s. I think right now, with all the rums and gins available to you, you could probably make a better Red Rum Ginny. But for the sake of this exercise, I'm going to stick with what I have. However, if you find a combination that works really well in here, let me know what it is. Before we get started on the drink, quick note on the glass. I got this fancy little glass, and I'll do a close-up so you can get a better look at it, from my friends over at Retro Solstice. Jeff and Randy have a large collection of glasses. Retro, so time span is not quite vintage, but a little bit more modern, and some of them are really nice. And so this one's got a skull and crossbones. It works well with the story because Thomas Ligotti is a horror writer. It also says nitroglycerin and name your poison, which I think is very appropriate. I will have a link to the Retro Solstice website down below if you want to check it out. Feel free to buy any drinks. And if you buy glasses. And if you do buy glasses from them, let them know that I sent you. To make this drink, we are going to start with the rum. 1 3/4 ounces of rum is 52.5 milliliters. 3/4 ounces of gin. No, 1/4 ounce of gin, 7.5 milliliters. 2 ounces of cranberry juice. 2 ounces is 60 milliliters. Add your ice. And top it off with your ginger ale. Add a straw. You can give it a little stir if you want. I'm not going to. And garnish. There's no garnish listed in the book. However, they do mention that an optional ingredient, if you cannot get cranberry juice, is maraschino liqueur. I'm not putting maraschino liqueur in here because I have access to cranberry juice, but I am going to garnish it with some maraschino cherries. And I don't know if you know the rule. It's 1 olive or 3 olives in my martini, never 2. I don't know why. But because Thomas Ligotti is a horror writer, I'm going to do two cherries. And that's it. The Red Rum Ginny. Drink with good spirits. Question of the day, what is your favorite cocktail that you got out of a book? Not a cocktail book, but like a fiction. Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to try to make it, especially if it's rum-based. Note that there are ways to support the channel if you're so inclined. I do have social media links. They are in the description down below. Feel free to follow me on any of those. Also, I have t-shirts. If you want a t-shirt, you can contact me through those social media links and we'll make sure you get one. Finally, if you made it this far, give me a like, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe, turn on notifications, and do all that great stuff so you don't miss out on anything I do. And until next time, cheers.